How's it going? We're out doing a little bee work. Got some chores to do today. Taking the tractor right now and hauling it back to the shed. Trying to get ready to go to the beach. We headed out to the beach for a few days, take a little break. We worked hard all season, hadn't really had time to take any break. We had a good season. Pulled a lot of honey off. Bees are looking pretty good. Not having too many problems with them. A few dead outs we got to take care of, but other than that, it's been going pretty good. This bee yard we're going to now is just a couple miles away from the house, so it shouldn't take too long to check on it. We'll see what it's doing. We know we got 3 that's dead there. They were late season splits we made. We made them too small. They didn't do nothing. So we're going to combine what's left and really want to see what kind of pollen they're bringing in, because the yards at home are bringing in some pollen and it looks pretty good. The pollen flow is going pretty good. I doubt there's any nectar out there yet though. We'll still be feeding for a good little while. Just thought we'd bring you along, kind of let you see what we're doing. We're out at one of our out yards now. We wanted to check the lids, make sure all the lids were on the colonies. We got a few strong gusts at the house and it blew some limbs down at our house, so we was wanting to check and make sure these were all good. They seem to be doing okay. This yard was started early this spring from some queens we got from Bob Benny. They're Caucasian Carniola mix and they seem to be doing real well. They built up good and strong. These boxes are good and strong. We may actually have to come back and put some supers on them for the fall flow. I'm hoping we don't have to. I'm hoping they don't plug out. I like over in winter and single boxes the best. They seem to do good for us, so we'll see how that goes and we'll keep you updated. If we have to put some supers on them, we will, but hopefully we don't have to and they just plug out not too bad, but they fill up for the winter and we don't have to have any excess that we're going to have to take off and extract again. We've already cleaned up our extractors and we really don't want to have to drag all that out, but we may have to, and if we do, it's okay. We'll take it and see how it goes. A little washboarding going on the front of this colony here. I'm hoping to see some pollen. I hope they bring in some pollen. Our home yard's bringing in a lot of pollen, but just because one yard's gathering pollen doesn't mean all of them will be. Like I said, we'll keep pollen supplement on these colonies for a while until they're bringing in a good source of natural pollen and we know it's not going to rain. We don't want any rain to stop them from being able to forage this time of year. There's nothing wrong with feeding pollen supplement. I did a video on it and released it today actually, but pollen supplement in small hive beetle country is okay. Now you can't give a 5-frame nuke a 1-pound patty and expect not to have any problems, but good rule of thumb is feed what you think they can consume in a week. I mean, if they can handle, you know, a golf ball size, give them a golf ball size. If they can't, give them the size of a quarter. There's nothing wrong with feeding it. And come back in a week and check it. It's probably going to have some hive beetle larvae in it, but if it does, it's no big deal. Get rid of it. Throw it out. I recommend not throwing it down in your yard. I would definitely not want to do that because they'll pupate in the ground and increase the beetle population, but you can definitely feed it. We see all the time they say you can't feed pollen supplement if you have small hive beetles, and that's just not the case. Now, hive beetles can be a problem, and if you don't keep an eye on it, yeah, you can lose your colony because of it, but if you do it with care and you're careful with what you do, you'll be okay. I'm glad to see this yard's doing well. We got them on two-way pallets, some on regular pallets. We got a mixture of everything. But hopefully this yard will do well. We'll get a good fall flow and they'll build up nice for the winter. We're going to use this yard for nuke production next spring, so hopefully they'll do good and get off to a good start this year. We've had a lot of luck with them so far. We do have a few dead outs from the splits we made earlier. We made them too small. It was in August. Didn't care for them the way we should have, and unfortunately they didn't make it. They got robbed out. So we'll combine what's left of those and get those ready for winter as well. I was looking, this yard isn't bringing in as much pollen as the other yard was. They are bringing in some pollen, but it's not like at the house. So hopefully they'll start pretty soon. There's some goldenrod blooming, but they just hadn't started bringing in the pollen, I don't guess, or it's just the wrong time of the day. It's hard to say. Bees will be bees, and you might come out here early in the morning, they'll be bringing in a bunch of pollen, but come back 3 or 4 hours later and they won't be bringing in any. So we'll see how it goes, and we really have high hopes for this yard for the springtime, so hopefully they'll all overwinter well. We've done our mite treatments on them. We used Apiguard on some and Apivar on some. We're kind of testing the Apiguard. We've used Apivar for years, but some big time beekeepers are saying they're having some issues with it, maybe not being as effective. We have not. We've not had any issues with that, but definitely believe what they're saying. I mean, obviously they wouldn't say it, especially the ones who are talking about it. So we experimented with Apiguard. I've used it before in the past, but it's been years ago. And it did fine. It did shut the queens down for a little while, but they started laying again, so no issues with that. Just be mindful with the dosage and the heat. So as you can see, there is some goldenrod starting to bloom here. But keep in mind, all goldenrod's not the same. And some of it produces more nectar than others, and some of it I don't believe produces any nectar at all. I could be wrong, but it also depends on your rainfall and things like that. I think all of it produces the pollen you want, but you got to be mindful if you're counting on the goldenrod to get you through the winter on. You might want to check your colonies, because sometimes it don't produce the nectar that you're wanting, or at least my area don't. Sometimes you can smell goldenrod in the hives, and sometimes you can't. I'm not real sure. I believe the goldenrod that blooms more straight up and down is what you're after for the nectar. I could be wrong. I'm not a specialist on goldenrod by any means. What I do is I just keep a check on my colonies. I make sure they got the stores they need, the pollen they need going in the winter, and the bee power they need. If they don't, you know, I feed them, I supplement them, try to get them built up, and that's how we go. There's actually a hornet. It's not a murder hornet. I'm flying around one of these colonies over here now. We call them Japanese hornets. Definitely not a murder hornet. So these bees should be able to take care of that, I hope. So we'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching.